And here we go. This will be episode 13 of the Gwadzilla podcast. And this episode of the Gwadzilla podcast will be about the Dead City Alleycat in 2025. And I'm curious if there's a filter that will take out my heavy breathing, but maybe for the Halloween themed Alleycat, my heavy breathing will fit in. So this year, the Dead City Alleycat was hosted by Bob McDonald. I have ridden, raced, and hosted the Dead City Alleycat a number of times. This is an event that has happened in Washington, D.C., in the D.C. messenger culture for over a decade. And as said, I've hosted it and I've raced it a number of times. Last year, I hosted a Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos themed Alleycat. It was not Halloween themed, it was Day of the Dead themed, and it was, I thought, a very cool cultural experience. Took racers all over the city to many things that were either Mexico or Day of the Dead themed, and that was a lot of fun. And then the year prior than that, I took a day off from hosting the Dead City Alleycat, and the event was hosted by Danny Kaye. And that was a super good time. It was quick and clean. It had some fun thrown in. One of my recollections is that I won. Yeah, I won the Dead City Alleycat that year, and it's sort of a humorous thing because it fits into Alleycat and Alleycats and its subtleties. You know, there's Alleycat math, but there's also Alleycat rules. And in this case, those that followed the rules won the race. I had done the race, I was quick and I was clean, and I came in at fourth, right behind 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and things were scored. And when things were scored, it was learned that I was the first complete manifest. And the 3 racers in front of me, led by my buddy Dario Martinez, and Dario may have come in first, he finished first, but he didn't have a complete manifest. At a checkpoint hosted by Lindsay and Stepdad, there was a task of creating a necklace out of gummy candy. And so there were some rules about maybe the limit of how few pieces we could use or maybe color combinations. In addition to those rules of how that necklace had to be made, there was the rule that the necklace had to be worn when arriving at the finish line. And I finished fourth, but I was the first finisher with a complete manifest, and behind me was Bruce and then Nate. And so Danny Kaye did announce that I was the actual winner, but somehow that went misunderstood. So yeah, I won the Dead City Alleycat that was hosted by Danny Kaye, the one that had the pickup of a popsicle stick here and pick up an apple there, assemble at a different location at Dupont Circle, an apple, a caramel apple, and then at the finish you had to eat the caramel apple before your manifest could be accepted. And so yeah, that's the Dead City. It's one of the more popular Alleycats of the DC Alleycat season. I've enjoyed hosting it. I've enjoyed racing it. And I was excited that Bob wanted to take on the Dead City this year because, as said, it would give me a chance to race. And I was excited to race because I had missed a number of the larger events this season. I had missed Bruce's Alleycat Throne for his 70th birthday, and I had missed the more recent Papusa Alleycat hosted by Dario. So it was exciting to me that I got to sit back and relax. I didn't have to go through all the process. The process I love very much. I do love to host an Alleycat. I hosted the July 4th Alleycat, but I also enjoy racing Alleycats. You know, I've been meaning to do a podcast on the Alleycat. I have a few great clips of some DC messengers telling me what an Alleycat is. And since I've loaded all these images, I guess I can go through a quick mention of what an Alleycat is and what I believe an Alleycat to be. And I think that it's interesting because there's messenger championships and there's Alleycats. And both of those work in some way to represent the day of a messenger. And it can be done different ways. And sure, there can be fun and games in it, but the Alleycat is intended to test the skills of a messenger, which would be a combination of speed on the bike, efficiency on the bike, the ability to not just navigate the route, but to navigate traffic, as well as the ability to understand a manifest. So the manifest, the race, it can be held in a variety of formats. In some cases, at the start of the race, the racers are given a manifest with a list of checkpoints, and those checkpoints can be in order or out of order. But then there can also be point-to-point races, or points where the racer has to go to a destination and then they're assigned the checkpoint at that point. There are too many different game combinations to try and list them here. Now, in the years that I've hosted the Dead City, I've tried to add a little bit more of a carnival atmosphere to it. I've had tall bikes at checkpoints where each racer had to do a lap on a tall bike. And I've had other checkpoints other years where people have had to do laps on miniature kid-size cruisers. And so yeah, here I am once again floundering, trying to figure out how long I need to ramble before I get to see the race start here. I'm looking at all sorts of images from Alleycat's past. I'm looking at images of different spoke cards from Alleycat's past. Now it's interesting, I can jump into this, and the last few Alleycats I've done, I have kind of failed myself. Normally when I approach an Alleycat, I'm excited and I approach with all sorts of anticipation. I roll up at the race start and I do an assessment of who is there, and I try and get a measure of my competition. I take it moderately serious. Yeah, I'm a slacker, and I'm a type A slacker. I like to take my slacking serious. And so I get to these events, and there can be many strategies, and sometimes people like to form allegiances. I've raced a number of Alleycats with DC bike messenger Bruce Barrett, and in those races I might give up some of my top speed for companionship. And we can be fast, we can be smooth, and we can be efficient. But if you really want to be competitive against the top guys, if you want to be in the top 3 or crack the top 5, you have to add speed into the mix. And so yeah, some people will arrive and speed is all they have. And one trick that someone can do is when they're fast is they can forego routing altogether, and they can rip off the fast guy. They could show up and look around and go, who has been winning the Alleycats recently? Is my engine similar to theirs? They could choose to just jump into the shadow of Biggs, Johnny, or Sleazy G. And then if they're fast enough, they could tail them the whole race and then race them from the last checkpoint to the finish. That is a strategy. And if someone were racing from out of town, I would recommend that strategy. Not so much to chase the winner, but to link up with somebody whose engine is similar to yours. Often fixed gear racers ride at a similar pace and a similar style, and geared riders will often race at a similar pace and a similar style. Maybe my being an older rider, I link up well with other older, faster messenger types. As mentioned, I'll ride with Bruce at times, and I've also ridden with John Dinn. I've ridden with Bruce and John Dinn because we have similar engines. Why race against each other when, in many cases, we'll be alongside of each other anyway? So we work up in sort of a team where at times the allegiances do have to be broken. At the Triple Crown one year, I was riding with Bruce, and then an ex-messenger, Ron Cassie. And we were riding along, and there was a point in the race where I felt that Bruce was going to miss a checkpoint, and I tried to make a correction, but I don't think he wanted my correction. He then checked his manifest and agreed, and then we looped back 2 blocks and grabbed a checkpoint that we almost missed. But then later in that race, just a checkpoint or 2 later, I felt that we had achieved the goal of taking a photo where we were supposed to take a photo, but he was still interested in looping the building. And so I left him and Ron, and I went to the next checkpoint, and then I went on and did the race on my own. Although we had started with an allegiance, I didn't think it made sense to continue that allegiance. And I ended up getting 3rd on that day. That's a story for another day. I got 3rd. It was a strong finish. It was a strong day. But, there's aspects of that day, the 104-degree heat, the late start, maybe not enough hydration, perhaps wearing one too many layers. It was a story for another day. But, yeah, so here we are talking alley cats and maybe going on further into a discussion because I've mistakenly put in too many photos, and I may have repeated this slideshow more than once. But I can see the slideshow is coming to an end, so I'm going to start talking about this day, 2025, actually Halloween 2025. So Bob decided to host the Dead City Alleycat on Halloween proper. To do it on Halloween proper, that would mean that he would be hosting a post-work Alleycat, a Friday evening Alleycat, with the conflict of Halloween plans and also the madness of Halloween happening on the streets around us. It's a decision, and I think it's a fine decision. I had no Halloween plans. These would be great plans for my Halloween. So on Halloween day, I went and got on the bike and did my dog walking responsibilities. After walking my last dog, I rode my bicycle home. There was enough time to change my clothes, eat a quick snack, drink an energy drink, and switch bikes. The day had been windy, real windy, and I would say cold, but honestly it wasn't cold. It wasn't winter cold, but it was late fall cold. And it was important for me to dress appropriately. The snowboarder in me knows it's important not to be too cozy in the parking lot. And I dressed in layers, and I tried to be in layers such that I wouldn't be so warm waiting at the start because I wouldn't want to overheat once the race started. So I dressed in layers with a windbreaker in my pack and went to the race start and was dressed in what I thought was an appropriate amount of layers and a Halloween theme. I put on a Spider-Man Venom shirt, no face makeup, nothing else. And I arrived. The race wasn't as on time as I'd hoped, but when things started, we were excited. When the manifest was handed out, we were given enough time to do a quick assessment of the order. The order seemed simple and straightforward to me because many of the checkpoints were far enough apart that it made for easy routing. Unlike the Messenger Appreciation Day Alleycat, where any first checkpoint could create a circle and the person could possibly be competitive with that route. In this case, I felt like going to Holyrood Cemetery was our first and best option. Maybe the only option, unless you were to choose to do it in reverse. But I felt like we had to ignore the Tacoma Park 600 Cedar checkpoint to last because that was so close to the finish and in fact being north of the finish. That was almost eliminated from that mini circle, but maybe somebody could have gone to northeast and backtracked northeast to Logan Circle, to the White House, to the Octagon House, then back to Georgetown, and then from there go north to the 600 Cedar Street in Tacoma Park, D.C., almost Tacoma Park, Maryland, almost Silver Spring. So with the route in my head, I took off. And now it was interesting. I left out of Walter Pierce Park on the bike path. I think everyone else took to the street. And so this gave me a little bit of a gap on people, but it also gave me a little bit of confusion. I'm pretty quick, but everyone's quick off the start. It struck me as odd that I was alone. So at this light at Connecticut and Calvert, I took a second to double check my manifest. It was a simple manifest, so I could quickly graze over it and make sure, yes, Holy Rood would be my best choice. And then here I started to think, what will be my best way to get to the Holy Rood Cemetery? And yeah, I think that the Calvert Street was good, but do I drop down and then work my way across Mass Ave and then through the woods and then pop out onto Wisconsin Ave? No, I don't think I want to do that. The tires aren't thick enough. I've decided that I'll go up Calvert Street and go over towards the National, excuse me, not the National, but the Naval Observatory, the grounds of the Vice President. But as I'm going up Calvert Street, I can see a bicyclist ahead of me, and I'm curious. Is that a racer? Did someone get out ahead of me? Is that Sleazy G? And I think, what is this person going to do? Is that racer going to go over and across from Calvert Street to 34th Street, over towards the Vice President's house, and then over, still on Calvert, to Glover Park, Upper Georgetown? Or would it be faster to take this left at this light and go straight to Wisconsin and then get to hammer downhill, straight, taking fewer turns, less bobbing, less weaving, more direct, a little bit out of the way, in a cat or mouse sort of way, as I think I might be able to catch the rider ahead of me? I slip into their shadow because I don't want to reveal where I am going. I don't want to make a pass and have them hop on my back. If they're going to go straight, I want to let them go straight and I'll go left, allowing us to learn, maybe, if that is a fellow racer and they take this alternate route, is their route faster than mine? And so then they're still ahead. I hit 34th Street, I take the left. Reno Road becomes 34th Street, and we're headed down towards Mass Ave. As I approach here, I'm at a corner of what was a checkpoint for one of my dead cities a few years ago. The roads get shut off. The area surrounding the Vice President house is blocked off by Secret Service, one of the many police agencies in the city. And it becomes curious to me, can I go through here? And I go through without hesitation. No problem. Wow, car free. I'll take that. I prefer the car free street. Still hammering, still spinning. I'm riding my All City Cosmic Stallion. And to my own error, I haven't had the big ring since I had the bike worked on by my mechanic friend Beth. Beth did an amazing overhaul to this bike and rejuvenated it in a very Dead City style. This bike was brought back to life. And I had the big ring, but the cable stretched. And after the cable stretched, I lost it. I thought I could get it with the cable barrel adjuster, but I wasn't able to get it back. So I'm forced to spin. My top speed is lower on this day because I don't have that big ring. All right, dropping in. Here I am, Wisconsin Avenue. Here, while passing traffic, I hit something, and later I stopped because I was afraid that maybe I had dropped something. But I'm cruising down Wisconsin Avenue here, and I know Holy Rood Cemetery is coming up. I'm not using a GPS. I'm not using my phone. I'm using my intuition. I know where this is. I know the basic address, so I'm not following the address. I foolishly already tried to slow my pace because I'm afraid that I'm going to pass it. But Holy Rood is a little further down Wisconsin than I thought. And there I am. There it is. Jerry's working this checkpoint. Jerry worked this checkpoint for me. When I ran the Dead City and used this, shamefully I used the same checkpoint several times, but it's got a great little loop in there. And I have the volunteers run a race within the race. And racers would have to carry a package or several packages on this little loop in the cemetery. And it would timed, and I would award the fastest person to do that loop a prize. So racers get to race within those race, and they get a prize, so that not only the top finisher is given a prize, but the top finisher of the race within the race gets a prize. And here I am diverting off Wisconsin. I didn't want to deal with all the Wisconsin Avenue traffic, so I cut over and then go down. And then as I go across, on my left is Oak Hill Cemetery, Dumbarton Oaks, and a few other spots. I've hosted a variety of checkpoints at the Dead City because the cemetery theme. I passed this fountain on the left, and that was another race within the race. It was that checkpoint that I had people manning the checkpoint. Beth and Raven had children-sized cruisers, and people had to do a 3-lap race on that child-sized cruiser, which was poorly adjusted, had no brakes, and was probably a bit of a death trap. They did that, and the fastest racer of that little race around the fountain, which probably took about a minute, just as a Holyrood Cemetery on your own bike with package race took about a minute. And that was fun, perhaps the most fun. And then we take a right down here on 28th Street, which keeps us straight, and we don't go left. Had we stayed left on P, there would be another cemetery, a very historic cemetery, a hidden spot. And I love to share historic hidden spots with people. And I've used that spot several times with different checkpoint tasks. And last year the task was lawn darts. And Dave P., Fast and Friendly Dave, who often rides and races in the shadow of Sleazy G, was excited to win the game of long darts. And I thought that was very fun. In a not funny way, long darts was a game in the 70s and 80s, and it was dangerous. Children were given these large, unnaturally large darts where they would throw them, and at the apex of the flight, the dart would change directions, and with its heavy metal tip, it would come towards the ground and land, sticking itself into the earth. And tragically, children died, literally died, because someone else had thrown the dart high and out of control, and had come down, and an unsuspecting child was pierced in the skull and died, literally died. So lawn darts was a toy of my childhood that I thought I would bring back for the Dead City Alleycat, thinking that there was some Halloween humor attached. So here I am, still riding alone. I haven't seen any other messengers. I have gone through the first checkpoint where I picked up a tarot card, and I thought that all the checkpoints would have tarot cards, but it was only the first checkpoint. I often don't listen enough to the pre-race meeting, but I did hear Bob say that at each checkpoint we need to say trick or treat, and I did, and I hope that the checkpoint workers did not engage the racers, but caused them to stall and waited, forcing them to say trick or treat before the games begin, because following instructions, it's not just a race of speed. A messenger would have to go point to point, and at the location, they just might have to do something in between. It might be a timestamp or interlibrary loan. They might need a signature, and so on and so forth. There's more to it than just riding a bicycle fast. And in many cases, there'd be a number of messengers working for a company, and one messenger may be given more work because they could be trusted to complete the task. They'd be trusted to do the work, that they would respect that there has to be treated with some sort of reverence. The package can't be damaged. You can't spill your bong water on it, or, whatever. And so yeah, there was something to it. So here I am. That's my buddy Steven working a checkpoint, and he's hidden. And look at that. Sleazy G rolls in, and I roll out. Uh-oh, we have a race. I'm trying to win this shit. I'm in it to win it. quite honestly, you won't crack the top 5 trying to be 5th. If you want to crack the top 5, you got to shoot for 5th. Not in this race, but most any race. You've got to approach it with the racing mindset. You can't, just guess yourself around. Now, okay, correction. There are points races, and sometimes the complete manifest can win the race. As I mentioned, I finished 4th in the Dead City Alleycat a few years ago, and then I was 1st because I was first complete manifest. And so more complicated manifests can have that tortoise and hare effect where the slower, smarter racer wins by points. And in this case, here it is, Sleazy G has caught me. And we're at the White House. And the selfie says, giving the bird.
No people.
Say again?
No checkpoint, just photo.
And I'm hoping that Sleazy G doesn't give the bird. And now, I didn't like the view of the White House, so I slowed myself through the checkpoint here to get a better vantage point. But that was the White House that would have been in the photo. But so I take a selfie with the bird, just as in the Messenger Appreciation Day, where I hoped that Sleazy G didn't get the photo of the bird statue. I hope that Sleazy G would get a selfie, but not get the bird, and not issuing the bird to the White House. And so Sleazy G makes the pass. Here we are, we're on 16th Street, what used to be Black Lives Matter Plaza. Now it's back to 16th Street. They tore it up and repaved it just to remove the words Black Lives Matter Plaza. What a slap in the face. And in the beginning of that, we saw not just Black Lives Matter Plaza without the marking on the street, but we could see the Methodist Church where protesters were shot. A bike adjacent person, Tata L, who loves pizza, was there protesting. And he has done Alleycats, was Messenger Jason. I don't know if he did any delivery work, but he was a track bike rider and would do the DC bike party and do some Alleycat racers. He was in fact shot by one of the rubber bullets and suffered an injury. And I was there that day just 10 minutes before the assault on peaceful protesters by the president. And I was there, and it was quiet. It was peaceful. But I knew something was up because I had seen the perimeter had changed. The perimeter was different on that day. But I just passed through doing a loop, trying to get some exercise, and it's on my Strava. And I left. And just minutes later, 15 minutes later, 10, 15 minutes later, the president came out with armed soldiers and attacked peaceful protesters. And yeah, this is America, just like Childish Gambino says, life in America. And so here I am back on the bike, and I'm not sure where I am at this point. I haven't been paying attention, but it looks like I have just gone from the White House to Logan Circle. And Sleazy G got in front of me and he made a light. We took different routes to get here. Sleazy G is still here. We have to eat a candy and finish a candy. And the airhead was not easy to finish. So Sleazy G rolls out. I see his yellow bag that Dave, I think, won in an Alleycat, and then used as a prize in an Alleycat.
Where's your other half? Where's your little...
There you can see my side pouch and my punk rock belt and my effort at a little Halloween with my venom. Where are you going next?
Is this your new?
I'm good. Bye.
And we're goodbye, Colin. Thanks for your help by hosting another Alleycat. And yeah, this is where it all goes wrong. I could have easily just left out and hopped onto Rhode Island and taking Rhode Island straight, not to North Capitol Street, but I could have taken Rhode Island straight to Lincoln Road, but I didn't want to lead Alex. Now, Alex, I think he put everything into his phone. He used to be Alex a Map. He used to be analog. He used to start his Alleycat, open up a map, pull out a Sharpie, and mark all his checkpoints, and then create his route. Now, like everybody else, he puts it into his phone. Me, I don't roll like that. Although you will see me use my phone up here. We have to use it for selfies, and I did use it just because I figured I was stopped. It'd be foolish not to. And actually, I did double check 600 Cedar Street because it seemed odd to me that 6th Street and Cedar Street would be an Alleycat checkpoint. It was so north, so out of place. But I think it worked for two reasons. I think that, I'm not sure if the finish was decided at that point, but it puts you close to the finish. But I also think, and I didn't double check this, but I think that if you take the 5 checkpoints, not including the 6th checkpoint, Logan Circle, which is in the center, and you use those 5 checkpoints, you can create a 5-pointed star. Now, our routing of the race will not create that 5-pointed star, but you could connect those dots such that it creates a 5-pointed star, the pentagram, sticking along with the Halloween theme. And Bruce was curious. Halloween theme. You know, what is the theme? And that is the theme. It's Halloween. Are the location themed? I guess we could think about it. Yeah, cemetery, Halloween themed. And the Octagon House has been used before in Alleycats and maybe even in Dead Cities. I don't know what makes it Halloween themed, but it was used. Logan Circle, I don't know what's Halloween themed about that. The White House, I guess there's a clown in the White House. That makes it Halloween themed. And then what about the other space? Yeah, of course, the next cemetery, also Halloween themed. And then, but I think that those locations were selected and chosen because he wanted, Bob McDonald wanted to make the pentagram. So we saw some splitting of the lanes here. I'm riding with my Insta 360 X5, and it's on a mount, and it's not extended too far. It's only extended slightly. If it were extended further, I would have a better perspective and I could have more viewing options. But the further the extension of the camera, the more wobble, but then also the greater the risk of cutting lanes. I have to pay attention how far things are, and there you see in the shadows, you can see the extended arm of the X5, and I don't want to clip it when splitting lanes. Here you can see the error that took me out of top 3 fighting for first. Well, I still got third, but it took me out of contention. I'm going up here, and instead of going all the way to Lincoln Road, I foolishly go up North Capitol Street. And once I get to the 2100 block, I think that I'm parallel and I can go to the 2100 block of Lincoln Road Northeast. I can't, because all of those side streets go to the back side of the cemetery. Now, don't get me wrong. I thought about climbing the front fence, throwing my bike over and climbing the fence. But I decided backtracking, going back to Rhode Island Avenue and going over would be my fastest route. Oh man, I tell you, it's very frustrating to rewatch and see my missteps. I did a podcast episode for the last Alleycat that I raced in, the Messenger Appreciation Alleycat, and I totally botched the race. Now, Scrooge was later in the filming than I thought it was, but I totally botched the race. I did 10 out of 10 of the checkpoints on the manifest when I only needed to do 9, which dropped me in contention. But I was just a little sloppy, but I think that I could have been more competitive had I only gone to 9. If I had not gone to the hand statue, even that I know would have put me up in contention. All right, let's see if you can hear my joke.
What's this?
What's your joke?
Joke?
Joke.
What room in the house can a skeleton not go into?
Which room?
The living room.
Oh, that's a good one. That's on theme. That's good.
Thank you. Well,
Okay. So he leads with this.
I got it.
Here you go.
thanks.
Go. Oh, wait.
All right.
Oh shit, yeah. Everybody's like, where do I gotta go? The next one's 30 minutes apparently. Half it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's true too. They're like, the guy was like, let me study.
No, I mean, the guy in front of me knows where it is. These guys all know where it is. I don't.
So I take off from Lincoln Road Northeast for 600 Cedar Street Northwest. And I have a pretty good idea where it is. Now, it's true that I did pull out the manifest. I pretty much knew where I was going. I didn't have to pull out the phone. But I just figured it was a smart time to catch my breath. I'm not sure. I probably took a drink from my water bottle. If I had anything like a candy, a Smartie. It's not unlike me to pop a little fuel. On this day, I have a water bottle filled with water, but it's not uncommon for me to have an additional water bottle with Gatorade and Red Bull, so I can give myself little shots of energy through the race. You know, water is important, but you know, sometimes we get depleted, and it's good to give myself like a nitrous oxide boost, or excuse me, nitrous oxide would be the courier version, but the car race version would be nitrous. And so I'm working my way up towards North Capitol Street, and at a certain point, I can see up ahead 2 cyclists. Now, I think I was wrong about the cyclist on Calvert Street being a fellow Alleycat racer, but the camera doesn't show it, but in my mind's eye, I'm pretty sure that it's 2 racers. And at one point, I have a pretty good feel that it's Dario and Henrietta. And here I am, I'm stuck at the light. And again, using my time, double check the manifest or double check that I have everything. Here, I drop my sticker. That could have been tragic. That would have affected my finish. On the left, we have the Basilica, the National Cathedral, not the National Cathedral, but the National Shrine. The National Cathedral is a different location in Northwest DC. And this is Northeast DC by Catholic University. So this is an interesting Alleycat. It took us to a few different places, took us to some places we've been before, but the routing, you know, forced us to race maybe streets we don't normally race. I don't mind when there's Alleycats that allow for, you know, bike lanes as an option, safer routes as an option. When I pre-rode Bruce's 70th birthday Alleycat, I could see that Bruce was trying to think in those terms. And at one point, he created 2 checkpoints that were across the street from each other. And his manifest was in order, 35 checkpoints. And I thought that the error would be that racers who had already gotten to that were at the checkpoint across the street would draw the attention of racers at that checkpoint, and then they would knock them both out and then get back to the checkpoint. And I was right. So he maybe created more chaos in an effort to make it safe and have them loop back and not cross the side of the street. I think that racers were distracted. All right, here we are. And it's one of those cat and mouse situations again where instead of, I can see the cyclists and they're still on the road, and I'm trying to approach it in such a way that maybe I can pass them without seeing me. I don't want them to chase me, but I can feel my speed is so much greater than theirs that I don't need to do a cat and mouse. I feel that I can overtake them and drop them. And I thought that I may have put the camera on them behind me, but I guess I need to learn more about this Insta360, because I don't know if I'm getting all the edits that I had intended. There's the shining behind me, which I tried to do sooner, so I could see if they were chasing me, to see if they got into my shadow. A smarter racer would have maybe hopped on my rear wheel and tried to draft. But we have the issue of gears versus fixed gear. And I think both Henrietta and Dario are riding fixed gears. In many cases, the fixed gear is an advantage in the Alleycat, but with these long hauls, maybe not. Now, I'm disadvantaged here because I don't have my big ring. I'm forced to spin, overspin, spin it to win it. And it reduces my maximum speed, but I think I still have a pretty decent top speed at this moment. Now, my hope is to catch Sleazy G and Alex. Now, am I faster than those guys? I don't know, but maybe if I had a Herculean effort, or maybe if they didn't feel they needed to hammer. I don't know. But there's always a hope. There's a hope that maybe those two are playing cat and mouse and I could catch them. And you would never hope that someone has a mechanical, but if someone gets a flat tire and I pass them, well, I'll take that slot up in the race. So in my mind, I think that I've passed those who have passed me, but I don't know. There's no real knowing. I know I passed those two guys. Did anyone else gain ground on me when I flubbed things and went up North Capitol? There's no knowing for me. So I hammer. I go as fast as I can to try and get there, to get to the finish. One more checkpoint and then the finish. And on another day, I would have taken a different route. I think that I talked to Bruce later, and I think from Northeast, he may have gone north and then over just 2 blocks to get on the Metro Branch Trail, which is the safest route. And here we are passing the fresh paved trail of what is the new extension, 1.7 miles addition to the Metro Branch Trail. I didn't ride it on this day because I didn't know if there would still be construction or markers. And then also the Metro Branch Trail on this section passes a liquor store and a few other things. Here it is. We pass the Capital Bike Share offices, and that self-storage area and the bike share people will have cars coming out. The washer dryer sales place, M&M, will have cars coming out. The liquor store right here is going to have people coming in and out all day long. And at the speed I was going on, I could not risk having a car poke its hood out of a parking lot to see if it was clear to get back onto Blair. So I avoided those potential risks and stayed on the street. I talked to Alex Samap later, and I think that he went over on Garrison or Harrison Street off North Capitol, which is actually the previous extension of the Metro Branch Trail. The people would be guided to take Harrison Street one way and Garrison the other to get to and from 3rd Street to Fort Totten, or Fort Totten to 3rd Street. So we'd passed my neighborhood of Manor Park. This is Tacoma, DC, and on our right we've got train tracks. North Capitol has become Blair, and I'm feeling pretty okay. I haven't had to drop pace. Legs aren't complaining. I've been pretty lucky with the lights. I had to stop for Missouri, but even with some red lights, I've been able to flow through pretty fast. I go all the way on Blair Street to Cedar Street, running the grid, and I'll take it's maybe 3rd and Cedar. Yeah, it's 3rd and Cedar here in downtown Silver Spring, and I take 3rd Street and I start going on Cedar. 3rd to 4th. I don't know. There may be it might be called the Tacoma Park Library, but it's actually in Tacoma, DC. But I take Cedar Street, and I wonder what's going to do here.
You have to say that, or else they don't get their prize. You just give this and I go away.
I sign.
So it's a signature and a sticker. Thank you for
You're welcome. Good luck.
volunteering.
All right, do you need to sign this?
Yes.
Oh man, Jesus Christ, a priest. I gotta move faster. Why have I not left yet?
See you at the finish line.
This kid is clearly fast. And so while he's entering into his phone, I've got to go intuitively. And so I hop back onto Piney Branch here, and I know that the finish is between 8th and 9th and Longfellow and Madison. So my aim is to take 8th Street down. And so I take Piney Branch and I want to jump onto 8th Street. And I do this moderately intuitively. The lighting isn't good enough for me to know what blocks are counting down where, but I guess I could have known it was 2 blocks, but I hit it and I hit it right. And so I'm on 8th Street, and much like most of the evening, it's Halloween. And so I've got to watch out for trick-or-treaters and cars. And so my speed can only be so great. We saw, trunk-or-treaters, we saw trick-or-treaters, we saw people in costume. It is Halloween. And so I hammer down 8th Street in the neighborhood that I live, but a street, maybe I don't ride this section that often. And I'm timing it pretty good. I'm getting pretty lucky with the cars. I haven't had to stop at this point. And I start to think in my mind, okay, it's between 8th and 9th and Madison and Longfellow. Okay, I'm going to hit Longfellow. No, Longfellow is after Madison. Madison is after Missouri. And so I get in my mind that I'm going to pass Paul's Charter School, cross over Missouri, and then after I pass Madison, I forget about Marietta, but after I pass Madison, I will turn into that alley and look for the checkpoint. I get lucky with Missouri. I have to slow to a near stop, but I'm able to bust a move, and here we go. The final steps to the finish. It's exciting. It's always exciting to get to the finish of an Alleycat and see how many bikes are there. It's exciting when there are very few bikes or only the bikes of volunteers, and you find that...
I totally fucked my route into it.
That was it. Yeah, that was.
I should have. I fucked it up. I went over to Apple alongside of it. Very efficient. Yeah.
How many miles?
13.8.
There you go. Good time.
Did I get the tarot card?
Don't take
it. Because the tarot card is part of the prize.
All right, so here we're at the finish, and, I'm not sure why. Oh, I think I changed the speed. But so we're not going to get any more audio from these guys for a bit. And so I've rolled in, and Sleazy G and Alex are at the finish, and I'm third, and I feel good about that. And I thought that Sleazy G was the winner. That's the logical thing. Sleazy G is a messenger, and he's fast on the bike. And so I thought that Sleazy G would have won, but I guess the speed of Alex was enough to overtake the speed and the messenger skills of Sleazy G on this day. And I'm stoked. I mean, third, that's podium. Top 5 would have been good. And there we have it. Priest comes in shortly after me. I did a pretty good job of leaving him behind. And although he was fast, I guess I was faster. And yeah, here we are, trying not to step in dog poop, waiting for other racers to come in. It's a beautiful day. I did break a sweat, but I'm not so cold that I feel any need to pull my shell out of my pack. Here I am approaching Sleazy G. I'm going to ask Sleazy G how his race went, and here comes Alex, and we're exchanging some of the tales of the race, and it's here that I learned that Sleazy G got second, Alex got first. And I will stop talking because I can see the audio clip right here. Come on, more words. It's moving slowly so I can still talk. Wonderful costume by Alex. He has been festive over the years. Over the years, he likes to dress up in costume, but I think
it was on the fucking numbers you got that.
You're welcome to hang on to the Snickers bag.
I think that I set my camera up here behind Bob as he scores, just so maybe we can get some dialogue between Bob and the racers. And I'm going to stop talking now. And
I was like,
I will.
do I wait behind you guys and not let you know what I'm going to do at the top of the hill? Like, did you guys?
I made the mistake once again doing my audio recording while playing the sound to the video, but I think that we might be good on this.
Damn, Bob.
Hey, someone's got keys over
there.
I know, those are here when I got there.
Bob wanted the dog shit. Now I smell it. I might have stepped in it.
Over that way.
Yeah, I know. I smell something. I might have stepped in it.
Oh, right here.
Somewhere over there. Yeah.
Henrietta and Nick rode with me.
Oh, yeah.
They were like right on my ass.
Yeah, bro. Dario, thank you.
Squad, were you the first one to get to Wisconsin?
Awesome.
Probably.
I went directly around the north side of the observatory. Like I saw people. I think other people went like north of the observatory.
Dario, I'm gonna hang on.
But I like hugged it on observatory.
No, Greg, you went.
I went some crazy.
You was out there with us.
I mean, that was insane.
And you talking about, did you go to Georgetown?
Yeah, I know. That was so fucking funny. I was like,
You can hang on to it or throw it away.
I think I was first at Georgetown.
Don't care.
But these guys really
First at Georgetown.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw it.
Bob's attention. Figure out who is grabbing the beer, because I'll if I have their number, I'll text them to see if
You got
I'm
it?
being redundant.
This guy got it, and he
Who's
fucking crushed
grabbing it?
Yeah.
Are you going?
It was we came out
Wanna go to Michigan?
like neck
After I
and
check
neck.
in, maybe?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I was going to get some non
Bro, I saw
true.
fucking
Yeah.
Holly Grove. I was like, bro, I know exactly where that fucking. And bro, you fucking clipped my front wheel. But yo,
I'm sorry.
no. I was like, where the fuck are you going? Like, there's no space.
No,
And then you were like, nah, I'm in it. And you saw the opening and you took it and you clipped me. But yo, I landed. Bro, I landed on like a bed of leaves. Like I literally I was like it went it was like the fucking races, right? Like and it clipped and it went and I was and I was like
dude, I heard a big body fall too.
I was like huge. Nah, it was like honestly it was like I landed like on all these leaves and I just like
I'll give you a
it just got right back up.
I saw him see this down. I knew.
And we were on Connecticut. I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, you good, bro. It comes with the territory, right? Like, it comes with the territory. I was just like, there's no space. Like, where is he going? And I see you make the move, and you just like hit the little bump. And then you like get in front of me, and you just clip the front wheel. That shit was so fucking.
I was about to make sure that.
I was like, what is he doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm sorry, man.
I was just like, I thought I was gonna hit that fence because the fence was like right there.
Slowly caught up and it was at Missouri.
You know, it was like,
DVD.
Because you never know.
it's like, you know how to fall or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just like, I'm just like, and the wheel just goes. I'm like, oh.
He's got a perfect.
I was like, this motherfucker. Sleazy G. And then like, I like fucking picked the bike up. I was like, I'm like, mad. But like,
Yeah, I did a cat and mouse with him.
I mean, like the fucking Holly Grove, I was like, bro, like that's. I thought this was gonna be a chill race. You got us climbing everywhere. Lincoln,
Yeah, but then I caught up on
cemetery, this cedar shit over.
Can I take a picture of that?
Yeah, I'll get it back.
I fucking took the trail.
It's not over yet.
We took the trail.
Oh, okay, all right.
There could be some changes. We took Lincoln Road to Forest, and I took Forest to the cathedral. What did you do?
Only fucked up a little bit.
I could tell, like, even though it's kind of a straight shot, you're not
Whoa, we did take no shots, but after. So
I would say.
we did Lincoln. We get up to Ford.
I mean, you were
Damn.
Oh
And
shit.
the other person was like, oh,
Go
this is
down
like
up,
for
then
cold
you
water.
make that lap, and then we were on the track. Like the drummer.
cars that pass.
And then that's when he came out of nowhere.
Speed limit. You know, not
I was like, oh shit, like, cause he came out of
Nick, just so
nowhere.
you know,
It
a
was just
dog
me and
shit over
Henrietta
there.
and Nick.
So
Nick
everyone
was-
here,
Nick
so
just
you
kept
know, a
popping
dog
out
shit over there.
like on random places. I just kept seeing Nick randomly, but Henrietta and me were like,
all the way to Charles Park.
and then you were behind us for a while. Right?
I was with you. And I left you guys
Yeah.
at the cemetery.
I looked it up on the thing.
Did not think to take our stand.
Hey, what's up? How are you?
I
Goddamn.
took the MBT. I know. I just because I figured
What else you can
Like 6
I
inches.
know cars. I just know that the thing is that the MBT goes like this, then it goes like this.
Yeah,
So that's why I was like,
I
we're just
have
gonna
one,
go
but
this
those are
way, and we're gonna climb this one zone, get on those tracks, and
I
That's why
tried
you
to
could have been there.
no, it's because I saw you went to the other way. You took that left, and me and Henrietta was like,
So there it is.
I was like, nah,
Gwadzilla
Sorry, I'm not
podcast.
pressing you, Cornette.
I wasn't the right way because I was like,
Episode
I got there and I
Lucky
seen y'all leaving. I was
13,
like, what the fuck?
go!
Dead City Alleycat,
Hi, Henrietta, you want?
a 13-mile race hosted by Bob McDonald. I'm sorry about some of the ranting. It can be a bit of a filibuster. I just start talking because I need to try and fill the space. I need to work with more of a script. That said, here I am just trying to fill the last couple minutes of this. This is the Dead City Alleycat hosted by Bob McDonald. I'm taking one last look at things. And so we had the top three of Alex, Sleazy G, then myself. And then first in the WTF category was Henrietta. I think we could have done with more mentions in the WTF than just the first place. I think that Liz came in fast and strong in that group. Well, not even group. She came in solo. Henrietta came in with Dario, and Liz came in on her own. And thought maybe she could have gotten a recognition as well. It was a great race. It was a great day. The wind of the day had died down. It was cool, but not actually cold. Looking right here, and I'm seeing on the video we've got Mr. High Viz, Aaron Bermudez, and Aaron has just rolled in on his Omnium cargo bike. I'm not sure if this is his first Alleycat on the Omnium cargo bike, but that's a pretty solid haul. But I've ridden the Omnium cargo bike when working for Urban Stems, and it's a fast, flowy steed. So without any stuff on it, it should, I'm not sure what just happened right there, but without having to carry any packages, the bike should be moderately light. More bodies coming in. I'm not sure who that is, but is that Rasika and Maddie? It's hard to tell with the light coming in. Actually, it looks like Stone and Maddie. I don't get the awards. I run out of video over here. But I do get the final arrival here. Bruce and Heather, they rode as a two-person team. Bruce dressed up as a bee. He's got a large bee on his chest, and he's got the stripes of a bumblebee. Bruce racing in good spirit. It's not uncommon for Bruce to dress up for the Dead City Alleycat. Last year was the Dead City Alleycat, but it was not Halloween themed. It was Day of the Dead themed, and I spoke to Bruce about that, and I tried to explain it. I tried to explain what Day of the Dead was, and I explained what a few things were that people would dress up. I mentioned that I was going to have the painting of a sugar skull, and that would be a popular theme. And he said, "Oh, I'm going to dress up as a spider." So last year, Bruce dressed up as a spider for the Day of the Dead Alleycat, and that was fun. It wasn't Day of the Dead, and it was 2 days after Halloween, but hey, go Bruce, go. Here we have him. I'm not sure what's happening here. It looks like the Artful Dodger unloading a bunch of stolen watches after pickpocketing the tourists of the day. And there we have it. The end. The Gwadzilla podcast, episode 13. And that was the Dead City Alleycat. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you at the next one.